All right, let's talk about one of the most exciting things happening in tech right now, AI agents. We're going to break down what they are, how they work, and, why there's such a massive leap forward for artificial intelligence. Let's just dive right in.
So, you know how we see AI models just crushing it on all these crazy complex tests, right? They seem superhuman. But there's this story about a bank that rolled out a top-scoring AI for customer service, and it was a total flop. Why? Because it couldn't remember a customer's problem from one sentence to the next. It could think, but it couldn't actually do anything. And that right there, that's the exact problem AI agents are here to solve.
So how do you get an AI to actually do stuff? Well, it all comes down to a huge shift in what we're asking them to do. We're moving way beyond AI that just answers our questions, and stepping into an era of AI that gets things done for us.
Okay, so here's the textbook definition. An AI agent is a system that sees its environment, makes choices, and takes action to hit a goal. But honestly, a much better way to think about it is like this. It's an autonomous digital employee. You don't just ask it a one-off question. You give it a whole job to do, something with multiple steps, and it just handles the entire workflow.
And this right here really makes the difference clear. A chatbot, it's an informant. You ask, it tells. But an AI agent, it's an executor. It acts. A chatbot is pretty much stuck on a script, while an agent can reason. It can change its plan on the fly. And here's the real game changer. An agent has a toolbox full of APIs and apps it can use to interact with the digital world. That's the secret sauce that lets it take real action.
So how on earth is all of this even possible? To get that, we've got a peek inside what you could call the mind of an agent. This whole autonomous action thing isn't magic. It's really built on 3 core, fundamental keystones. Let's break them down.
First up, we've got reasoning. This is the agent's brain, and it's powered by a large language model. It's what lets the agent look at a big, messy goal, like research all my competitors and write up a report, and then break it down into smaller, bite-sized, actionable steps. It's the strategist, the planner. Next up is memory, which you can think of as the agent's personal file cabinet. This is exactly what was missing from that bank's super smart but useless AI. Memory is what allows an agent to actually learn from its successes and its failures, to remember what it's already tried, and to keep the context straight during a long, complicated task.
And this memory isn't just one thing. It really comes in 2 flavors. You've got your short-term memory, which is kind of like our own working memory, for what's happening right now. But then there's long-term memory. And this is where it gets really interesting. This is how an agent builds real expertise, by holding on to knowledge from documents or past jobs, kind of like how a human employee gets better and better with experience.
And the final keystone is action, which is all about the toolbox. I mean, all the reasoning in the world is totally useless if you can't actually do anything. This toolbox is what connects the agent's brain to the real world. It's full of APIs for searching the web, functions for pulling data from a database, even tools to click around on other apps, just like a person would. So when you put it all together, a brain for reasoning, a memory for learning, and a toolbox for taking action, what are these agents actually doing out there today? Let's take a look at how this is moving from just cool theory to having a real impact on the world. Think of this as an AI agent's resume. They can be your personal assistant, sifting through your inbox and giving you the highlights. They can handle customer support questions with full context. For all the data people out there that can write complex SQL queries just from you asking in plain English. The big takeaway here is that they're not just automating one little thing. They're automating entire complex workflows.
And automating those workflows leads to some pretty mind-blowing results. Take healthcare. A health system called Atlanticare used a clinical AI agent just for documentation. The result? A 41% drop in the time doctors spent on paperwork. That saved every doctor over an hour a day. That's an hour they get back to actually spend with patients. Pretty incredible.
So how do they pull this off? A lot of agents use this really simple but super powerful loop. It's called the REACT framework. That's reason plus act. First, the agent reasons about what it needs to do next. Then it acts by grabbing a tool from its toolbox. Then it observes what happened. And then it just repeats that cycle, thinking and doing over and over, refining its plan until the job is done.
But what happens when a job is just
too big, too complex for even one super smart agent? Well, it's just like in the real world, right? You don't give one person an impossible task. You build a team.
And this is where things get really wild. We're talking about multi-agent systems. The whole idea is to build a team of specialized agents that work together. Each one has its own special skill, kind of like a software team with a project manager, a coder, and a QA tester all collaborating. And just like our teams, you can structure these AI teams in different ways. You've got the manager pattern. Think of it like a traditional org chart. There's a boss agent that delegates work to specialized worker agents. That's perfect for clear top-down jobs. Or you can have a decentralized pattern where agents are more like peers who just hand off the task to the next specialist in line. Super useful for things like customer service.
Now, to really see the power of this kind of teamwork, you've got to hear about this experiment called Agent Hospital. Researchers built this whole virtual world where AI doctor agents treated thousands of AI patients. When an agent got a case right, that became a good example for everyone to learn from. But when they got it wrong, the agent would actually reflect on its mistakes to get better next time.
And the results? They really speak for themselves. On a tough medical exam, the med agent team, with all that experience from the simulation, scored over 92% accuracy. Now look at that. That's not just a little better than the team without the experience. It's way better than the base GPT-4 model all by itself. This proves it. AI teams can actually learn and evolve to master really complex stuff.
So, where is all this headed? What does the future of this agentic AI look like? Well, there are some massive opportunities, but also some very real hurdles we've still got to get over.
This chart here is a great little reality check. As excited as everyone is, you can see that the core stuff, like reasoning and true task autonomy, is still rated pretty low in terms of maturity. To really get to that fully autonomous future, we're going to need much better multi-step planning, more reliable ways for them to use their tools, and, really importantly, universal standards so all these different agents can actually talk to each other. And here are some of the biggest headaches developers are dealing with right now. Agents can mess up when using their tools, or they can get stuck in these infinite loops, doing the same thing over and over. Sometimes they just fail to break a big problem down correctly, and there's always the risk of them misunderstanding what you actually want. And of course, the big one, security. We have to build strong guardrails to keep them safe.
But the end goal here is so clear and so powerful. Right now, most AI works like a co-pilot. It's helping a human who's still flying the plane. The vision for AI agents is to shift to autopilot. The agent handles the whole workflow, flying the plane on its own, while the human moves into a role of supervision, watching over and stepping in only when needed.
And that brings us to the big finish. AI agents aren't science fiction anymore. They're here, and they are absolutely going to change how work gets done in every single industry. So the real question for all of us isn't if this is going to happen, it's how we're going to guide it all to make sure that as we build these incredibly powerful tools, we do it responsibly, with human values baked in right from the start. Thanks for watching.